Hello friends, today we are going to continue chapter number 2, First World War and Russian Revolution, lecture number 15. Friends, in the previous lectures, we were discussing about these effects of the First World War, effects of First World War. Previously we started discussing from which were the factors that lead to this First World War. When we were discussing to the factors of the First World War, we understood that how destructive this First World War might have been. This First World War was done between several countries of the world. These nations, just to establish their power, to increase their colonialism, to expand their colonialism, to expand their strength, to trade in the open market of Asian and African countries. This lead to this destructive First World War. As we all know, that though the philosophy of this war was different in the different European countries, the philosophy was something like war is welfare. They thought that only the mighty deserve to live. But we all know, friends, that war cannot be sacred anytime. Because it is this war when even the victorious nation loses something or the other. Though being a part of a victorious nation, a country has to lose a lot of things. At the end of the war, we can see that the war has brought a lot of change in that particular nation. A lot of human resources has been lost. Many people of that country are died in this war. Many mothers loses their son. Many wives loses their husbands. Many sisters loses their brother. And this is a lifetime scarcity for that particular family. Friends, war, obviously, in the past, if you look at the history of the world, there are several wars happened in the different parts of the world. But friends, these wars were not major war like the First World War. So when we were learning and getting information about this First World War, it is important for us that why this First World War happened and what is the importance of this First World War in the world history. Friends, it was this war that brought a lot of change in the world. If we look at the today's time, each and every country is sitting, or we can say that each and every country has a lot of power. They are sitting on the edge of danger, we can say. Each and every countries have become powerful. Many countries are nuclear power possessing countries. Friends, lots of countries have produced weapons that can destroy the whole continents. These are the strength of the different countries. So, if the war happens in the future, it can be destructive for each and everyone. So friends, by understanding about the destruction that happened in this First World War, and later on when we study about even the Second World War, we can understand that how this World War affected the different countries of the world. How even the prosperous country were affected due to this war. And when we were looking and discussing about this World War, it was told that it was due to this greed of these European countries that lead to this First World War. After the Second War, the increase of the military powers, then again the groups were divided, then the feeling of fierce nationalism arises in the people. Newspapers started playing an important role by printing the false and manipulated articles in their newspaper. This changed the mind and the thinking of the people. This created the feeling of fierce nationalism among the people. This changed the philosophy of war. So friends, we also discussed that how due to the immediate reason of the attack on the King of Austria and his wife by the Serbian terrorist organization Black Hand, this First World War started. Friends, Once this First World War started, it was clearly seen that when the First World War started at the initial stage, Germany, which proved to be very powerful nation at the initial stage, in the greed of acquiring more and more power, started doing even the submarine wars, in which he drowned American steamer Lusitania and killed 147 American soldiers, which led America enter into the First World War, which was up to now neutral. After America entered into this First World War, many other supporting nations like Cuba, China, they also started entering into the First World War and joined the Allied nation, which made the Allied nation more strong. When these all countries joined the Allied nation, now from the Central Powers, except Germany, the other three countries, they also separated from the Central Power, and later on, in September, Bulgaria started joining, then Turkey in October. So these, in 1918, these all countries, the other Central Powers also joined these these Allied nations and made Allied nations strong. Now Germany became alone, and at last Germany Kaiser abdicated his post and ran away, and Germany surrendered, and on November 11th, 1918, the World War came to an end. But as we started learning that the effect of this First World War was clearly seen. The effect of the First World War, we learned the four main effects. We are talking about the four main effects. First one was the destruction of man and material. The second thing was the social change. Third was the long-term effect. And the fourth was the Treaty of Versailles. Friends, these were the four effects of the First World War that happened after the First World War. The people of the world experienced these effects after the First World War. We learned in the destruction of man and material how 6.5 crore people took part in it. About 2,000 people, about 1 crore people died in it. 2 crore people were injured, and round about 70 lakh people were permanently handicapped. Lots of people died due to starvation and other epidemics of killings. Friends, even in the social change, we discussed in the previous lecture that what social change came in the countries who took part in this First World War. In the different parts of the countries, the countries which took part in the First World War, in that countries, the men were involved in the wars, and due to that reason, the women of that country started taking the responsibility of their home to earn and feed their families. This stepped them out from their home. When they stepped out of their home, they started understanding their rights and responsibility, and they started demanding their rights. Due to this reason, the men that were involved in the war, who were more focused on the war only, they produced only the items, only the things that were necessary in the wars. Due to this reason, the scarcity of the necessary things increased. Due to this reason, lots of bad situation created, like starvation, unemployment. That started, scarcity started. This all started in the different parts. Here it is said the condition of the old people and the children were more pathetic. So friends, that was the social change that came in the each and every country. Today we are going to cover the third effect, that is long-term effect, we can say. What was the long-term effect? What was the long-term effect of this First World War? Here it is said, when we are talking about the long-term effect, here it is said the objective of peace process was to establish peace. They started thinking about peace process, its aim was to establish peace all over the world. Now they started thinking about the peace process, long-term effect. All the countries started thinking that they wanted to establish the peace process, and its main aim was to establish peace. But here it is said, however, the peace was never established. The peace was never established. So friends, here it is said, whatever the aim was, its main aim was to establish peace, but this peace was never established. Here it is said, on the other hand, the feeling of taking revenge, the feeling of taking revenge. Now the other countries wanted to take revenge. These depicted in the minds of the defeated countries. Friends, here it is said that on the other hand, the feeling of taking revenge developed. Now the defeated countries wanted to take revenge. So this thinking, this feeling started developing in the defeated nation, such as Germany. In the defeated nation, we can say like there is Germany, who lost the war. Like Germany though lost this First World War, but now the feeling of taking revenge was deep-rooted in the Germany. An organization, the League of the Nations, was established. An organization, the League of the Nations, was established in order to maintain peace. Here it is said, it was established to maintain world peace, we can say. To maintain world peace. To maintain world peace, this organization, League of the Nations, was established. Here it is said that Socialist Russia was not given place in it. Here, when the League of the Nations was established, Socialist Russia, as you all know, that when the Russian Revolution started, Russia has to left the First World War. So here, the Socialist Russia was not given place in the League of the Nations, while America did not join itself. While America itself did not join the League of the Nations. Here it is, owing to this reason, here it is said, owing to all these reasons, it lead to Second World War. This lead to Second World War. So friends, here we have clearly understood that when we are talking about the long-term effect, here when we are talking about this long-term effect, here it is said they started thinking about the peace process. Obviously, the main intent was to establish peace. The main intent was to establish peace. Its aim was to establish peace all over the world. The intent was to establish peace all over the world so that the world never experiences such kind of destructive war again. So now, the intent of the victorious nation was to establish peace. And here it is said, but on the other side, the defeated nations like Germany, in such kind of countries like Germany, the feeling of revenge had been deep-rooted because they had to forcefully sign some treaties which they did not like. Due to that reason, Germany always thought of taking revenge on the victorious nation whenever it got chance. For the sake of maintaining peace and organization, the League of the Nation was established by this victorious nation. The League of the Nation was established to maintain world peace. But here, the socialist Russia was not given place in this League of the Nation. Along with it, America itself did not join in the League of the Nation. Friends, here it is said, the League of the Nation was made with the aim of maintaining world peace. But the powerful nations, they did not follow the rules and regulations and the agendas of this League of the Nation. And this resulted, it is said, owing to all this reason, this lead to the Second World War. As Germany did not become the part, as Germany was only thinking of taking revenge on the victorious nation. So obviously, Germany would never think of world peace. We had seen that Germany was responsible for the First World War. Here again, it is said that Germany was going to become the responsible nation for the Second World War, as the feeling of revenge was deep-rooted in Germany. Though this victorious nation started efforts for maintaining world peace. As you all know, friends, that it is our Indian culture. When we talk about Indian culture, we believe in peace and harmony. We have taught the feeling of peace and harmony to each and every countries of the world. And that is why here it is said that in India we believe in peace and non-violence. Friends, here because when we are talking about peace, here it is said that due to war, each and every destruction is going to be experienced by each and every countries. And that is why now even the victorious nation, after experiencing this destructive war, now thought of maintaining peace and making an organization like League of the Nation so that in future they would not experience another war like the First World War. And for that sake, so that each and every country can work peacefully with each other, they can have mutual relation with each other. And for that reason, they established the League of the Nation. They established this League of the Nation just only for the sake of maintaining peace. But as it was clearly seen that Germany, who only wanted to take revenge, now was not going to follow the League of the Nation. Even we learn in the later lectures that even the powerful nation, they started ignoring this League of the Nation. They did not follow the rules of the rules that were made by themselves, that were made by the League of the Nation. League of the Nation felt weak in controlling this powerful nation. And when this League of the Nation failed in controlling the powerful nation, this powerful nation started conquering the different weaker nations again. And again, this led to the Second World War. And that is why here we say that owing to all this reason, this led to the Second World War. And it was this reason that led to the Second World War. And again, in the world here it is said, the people of this world experienced another destructive war, that was the Second World War. Friends, here when we are talking about these effects, you can clearly understand that how destructive this World War might have been. Even the powerful nation when they are thinking about maintaining peace, you can understand that what kind of destructive results they might have experienced, or due to which they started thinking of establishing such League of the Nation. League of the Nation means they started making an organization by combining, signing treaties and making an organization of different countries, and they framed this League of the Nation. But again, the efforts of this League of the Nation was failed. So friends, this was the long-term effect. We learned about the last effect, that was the Treaty of Versailles, a very important effect of the First World War, in our next lecture. Thank you friends.